everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. And if you guys aren't new to my channel and you guys still watch my videos and haven't subscribed, please subscribe. For today's video, it's going to be very interesting. I am going to be speaking about something that happened to me. It was a personal experience. Yeah guys, get your drinks, get your snacks, and let's get started with the video, guys. I'm not gonna mention the names or people involved because I'm not trying to get sued, and because yeah. So my very first job, I got it back in 2018 once I graduated, and this job I did work with kids with autism and Down syndrome. This job title was basically to be there as a friend, to help them, to go take them anywhere they wanted to go. You were like their best friend, correct? So this is my first job, mind you. I had no experience, little of how it would be to take care of kids with special needs until I started working with kids. These kids, they can walk, they can talk, they can do everything. Like, they can do everything, you just have to help them. So we had gotten a client that came in to work with us, right? But this person didn't have anything to do with autism or Down syndrome, and this person wasn't even a kid. And I guess we just mainly worked with kids, but also adults. And adults, the highest one that we had for the age range was probably 30. But this lady, I guess she was on bed rest, so they needed somebody to go in and basically help her and just be there with her. So I, out of everybody else, was the one to go there and help her. I had no experience working with anybody who was in bed rest, and this person was the first time that I ever had worked with anybody that had to do with bed rest. And she did have a lot of medical problems, and that's one of the reasons why she did qualify to come to our company. So I didn't think nothing of it. So I guess the shifts that they gave me were graveyard, and my boss came up to me one day and offered me a position with a new client, and I told him, yeah, I'm open to working with just anybody. But I didn't know the circumstances that she was in, so I didn't know anything. I just agreed to working with her. This company is very unprofessional. They didn't even really give you much. They just threw you into the field without knowing anything. You just, like, you know, it was just so unorganized. So one night, it was a graveyard shift with this client, and I go into work, right? So basically on our shifts, we had to stay up that full 8-hour shift. And usually I would work a 10 to 6 a.m. in the morning. This was my first ever graveyard shift. Mind you, first job, first everything, like not even experience. I was just thrown into this house without knowing her conditions, just because that job was so unprofessional, guys. That's why I'm not even gonna name names, but that job was so unprofessional. So they sent me into her house, obviously. Went in there, it was late at night. I was surprised because I didn't know her conditions, and I went into the room, and obviously she was on bed rest. So I had to call my boss and tell him, okay, so what do I do overnight? I don't know what to do. Obviously, coming from an unexperienced person who has never worked with people in bed rest, he just told me to just stay up all night, give her water in case she needs water. She has to take her pills at, I guess it was like 12 at night that she would have to take a pills before her other set of pills. So I would have to wake her up, give her a capsule, and then give her water, and then just check on her every so often just to see that she was breathing, that she was good. And then she would talk too, which was okay. Like, she can talk, she could communicate. The restroom, and her room is right in front of the restroom. So I walked in to go check on her. So this was the same night, my very first night working with her, and it was pitch black, mind you, and I heard her say, oh, can you sit next to me? And I was like, sure, you know, like, she probably just wants somebody to sit next to her so she can fall back to sleep. She was on heavy medication. So I sat there, and all I heard her say was, my sister would like you. And I was like, boy, if you don't get, what do you mean? And then I thought she was talking about like I've never met this girl, so she was like, my sister really likes you. And I was like, what do you mean? I just stayed quiet because I didn't know, you know. I was like, okay, maybe she's dreaming or something, maybe she's not talking to me, because I mean, it was almost 12 at night, and she just wanted to go back to sleep. I think anything of it. The next night comes, and I was usually scheduled with her 3 days out of the week. So this was on a Monday, and then it hit Wednesday. So I was already due for another shift with her. So guys, this shift, I go in as usual, I check on her, and then I lay on the couch. And my boss told me, you know what, like, you can take naps, but you have to be alert. So this day, I kid you not, I had finals. I was tired. I literally went in, right? I checked on her, right? And she was asleep. So I sat on the couch in the living room because I didn't want to disturb her while she was sleeping in her room. And I was laying down, and right when I laid down, because when I laid down, it's the couch, and then you're basically facing like the hallway, and then the restroom's on the right, and then her room's on the left. I don't know how to explain it, but that's how it looked, right? So I guess I just laid down, and I didn't, you know when you're so tired, you lay down and then you fall asleep, but you don't remember falling asleep? That happened to me. But I've never had sleep paralysis in my life, guys. Never in my life have I ever experienced it, or have, like, ever. So I knocked out, and I remember I was facing the hallway and I had sleep paralysis. So in my sleep paralysis, I kid you not, I seen a lady figure in black just standing in the hallway, just standing there and looking at me. And I kid you not, guys, if you guys ever had sleep paralysis, that shit is freaking scary. You feel like you're gonna die, like not even die, but you can't wake up and you're just stuck in a dream. That's just scary. I remember just me like trying to get up, and I couldn't even breathe. So I got up. Guys, tell me why I woke up at 3 in the morning. I still remember the time because I checked my phone. Pitch black, guys, pitch black. I couldn't see a thing, see anything, but I can hear noises in the restroom. And it wasn't just any noise. In the restroom, she had a tray with wheels on it. It was just like, you know how doctors carry that tray on wheels with needles and stuff when they're gonna obviously poke your arm for blood or something? It's just a tray and you can move it. She had that in her restroom, her single restroom. And I remember when I would go in the restroom, I would always just try to clean up whatever I can because she obviously couldn't do it. I went into the restroom, and I remember, what is it? I'm gonna call it a little table thing. The table thing was facing the toilet, right? But it was on the wall, so it was like the toilet's right here, and then the wall's right here, and then the whatever it is right there, right? So it was just facing that. Guys, I heard it literally move and hit the wall, and I looked at the restroom. I was the only person in this condo who had a key and access to this place because I was a caretaker and she was the only person there. I heard noises and I was like, oh hell no, I'm not gonna get up and walk towards it. Like,
Damn, why this loud bitch gotta bring that shit over here?
like, I've seen movies, guys. It's always the one that gets up to go check who ends up dying. And I was not about to do that, guys. I was like, you know what? I did not hear that, and I'm gonna go to sleep. So I went to sleep, right? And then I woke up. And it was already like, I think I overtook my naps when I heard that bang in the restroom. She was okay though. I still checked on her. I just didn't go into that restroom because I was freaked out. So I went back to sleep. I woke up in the morning. Something just told me to go to the restroom. I went to the restroom. I kid you not, that table was literally turned the whole way around, facing straight towards the door. Guys, I freaked out. I walked out of there. I tried to come up with some explanation to what the hell was going on.
I heard him first. I said, hold on. I said, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Because then I start to taste them. I say, and then I start to smell them. So it's like a smell, like tastes like other. So I knew something was wrong. I knew something special about it.
They had an air vent, and I was like, okay, maybe the air kind of pushed the bottom to like move that way. But the positioning, okay, it was straight like this. It was literally the opposite way, guys. So that I couldn't even explain it, because I was just like, did she get up? Did she get up and finally, like, did she start walking? Like, did I miss something? So I ignored it, right? I was just getting freaking freaked out. So one day I brought it up to my coworker. I'll name him Jimmy. I brought it up to my coworker Jimmy, right? I went into work, obviously, because I have to turn in these papers for mileage. So I went in there and I told him, hey Jimmy, I'm like, there's something weird in that house. And he was like, oh, are you sure?
Boy, if you don't get...
And I was like, you know what? I probably am overreacting. Maybe it's just because it's a graveyard shift. I've never worked a graveyard shift. I'll just let it slide. So I let it slide, right? My boss was like, you know what? Come to Burgers and Beer. Like, we're gonna just have all the coworkers here. We're gonna go out for dinner and whatever. The thing that I experienced happened Wednesday. So I didn't want to bring it up to my boss because I was like, who the hell's gonna believe me? Believe this girl that just started working graveyard? Like, they're gonna think I'm crazy, you know? We were at the table and then my boss was like, how's everybody doing with their client? How's it going? I was kind of skeptical then because I've never experienced something crazy. I have experienced little things, but now that I'm older, I'm just like, okay, like those were real experiences. So I told him, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable working with Sarah. And he's like, why don't you feel comfortable working with her? So I was like, Albert, I just don't feel comfortable working with Sarah. And he's like, what do you mean? What are the issues going on? I'm like, what do you mean, what issues? And he's like, I just don't feel comfortable in her house, her condo. Because guys, I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video that her parents were rich owners of an avocado factory business, like an avocado business, right? So her parents actually had a big house in Palm Springs, but since they couldn't really take care of her, they bought her a condo on the side so that caretakers can go to her house to take care of her. And that's why I only had access to her and her parents only had access to her. Back to the dinner we had, my boss was like, so what's going on? Why don't you want to work with her? And I didn't want to get it out and tell him, oh, I think there's a ghost in there. I would look crazy, you know? Like, there's not a lot of people who believe in this stuff. At that time and place, I kind of was skeptical about it. But now that I'm older, I believe in like other things besides just us. So I told him, there's just not good energy there. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to bring it up to him. I was like, okay, I already told my coworker, why am I gonna bring it up to him? If anything happens, my coworker knows. So Jimmy knows. Jimmy was like kind of a manager there. He obviously knew what was going on. So I had a graveyard shift with her once again. My first night, guys, I walked in there. I was just like, okay, like hopefully nothing happens here. Maybe it was just a condo. Maybe I was just overthinking, right? Since this was in her own room and I was doing a graveyard shift, I had to be in the room with her. There was a chair next to her bed and I would have to sit and just stay up. I could be on my phone, obviously just monitor her as I'm up. So I'm right here and in front of us it's her restroom. And this was the beginning of my shift and I stayed up and I think it was just around the time that I had to give her her night pill. So I gave it to her and then she fell asleep. So I sat there and this was my first time at her parents' house, and her mom used to collect antiques. She didn't also collect that. She collected porcelain dolls. The first thing I seen when I walked in was a porcelain doll.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Guys, I've never, since I was smaller, have ever in my life ever wanted one of those things around me ever again. I have bad experiences with dolls, especially with porcelain dolls. And these dolls that she would get were flown from overseas. She collected dolls that were pretty expensive that she would sell online. She showed me so many dolls that she would sell online, guys, for so much money. And I was like, okay, like that's off, you know, like that's weird, that's suspicious. Okay, back to the point. I gave her medicine, she fell asleep, and I was looking at the restroom and it would be pitch black. Obviously the whole room was black and she had a nightlight on next to her bed. And every time in the restroom there was this blue light and it would turn on for like a couple of minutes and it would turn off. And then it would turn on and it would turn off. And I was like, okay, it's probably one of those timing blue lights, right, guys? Guys, this blue light stayed on for over 5 minutes and then it turned off. And this light was only flickering off and on, and it stayed on for 5 minutes, right? So then I just got off my phone because I felt this heaviness, and I looked up and that light was just on, right? And I was like, what the hell is happening, you know? Like, why is it still on? I kid you not, I was like, is this light censored? I got chills. I got chills. This light, guys, was censored, guys. I lost my damn mind, and I didn't know it was censored until I was like, you know what, I'm gonna grow some balls, you know, my mama didn't raise no. I got up, guys. You had to be at least a couple feet away for that light to even turn on. I could not even. I called my boss, I told my manager I could not be here, I need to leave, I don't feel comfortable. And Jimmy, which was kind of a manager but he was also a co-worker there, was already coming in for his shift. I stayed up, guys, in fear. I stayed up praying. I was like, hell no, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna get dragged. I started praying, guys. The whole night I was praying, right? Just praying. And he had came in for his shift, and I told him everything that happened, guys. I honestly think I left him scared because it was his first night there too. I was like, there's a blue nightlight in her restroom and it kept going off. And I told him, I was like, I went to go check if it was censored, and it was censored. There's no way in hell, guys, no way in freaking hell those lights could have went on unless somebody was going back and forth in that freaking restroom. So that caught me off, guys. I didn't want to work with her. I never went back to her until she moved back to her condo, right? My boss needed someone to cover a shift with her, so I was like, I'll cover a shift. I've never in my life have been this dumb. I'm just freaking dumb. Like, I don't know, like an ideal person would be, I'm never gonna work. Like, that was the last straw, right? So I go into this shift, right? But there's a little twist happens to this shift. My friend had a doctor's appointment. I think it was a doctor's appointment. I think that's what I said. I told my boss that she had a doctor's appointment. She didn't have a doctor's appointment, guys. I told my boss that she had a doctor's appointment. That way she can go with me to my last shift because I was scared. But my friend didn't know what was going on in that house. I didn't tell her anything that was going on in that condo because I personally did not want to scare her. We went into the house. We were on the couch and we were facing each other on the couch. And literally in front of us, like, I'm facing her and then I'm literally looking at the kitchen, right? And this was already the night, so I remember I had given Sarah her medication. Then I went to go lay down with my friend, and they were like, okay, we're gonna go to sleep, you know? So right when we were about to lay down, guys, it was 3 like glass hits on a glass. Like, it sounded like somebody was grabbing a knife and hitting a glass 3 times. Her froze and we looked at each other and we just stared at the kitchen. Like, we looked at the kitchen and at the drawer because it was like, there's no way, like, this is a 1-floor condo, there's no way in hell that there's something making that noise. And previous to the nights that I would spend there would be walking, guys, I kid you not, I would be laying there and I would hear like shuffling coming from the walls, and I would be like do they have animals? Like, this is weird. Like, this is so weird. We literally went to sleep because of how scared we were, guys. I'm freaking like, she woke up. The first thing she even mentioned to me was, what are these marks on my hand? Guys, she had marks on her freaking hand. I was 2 hours almost done. I called my boss and my manager and I told him, you know what, I'm never ever coming back to this house, this condo, whatever it is, ever again. I left and I never went back. I never went back, guys. I was so scared, guys. I had to go to the church and get blessed and get holy water because it was just, I feel like whatever was there was just following me and affecting me in a negative way. And this was within the same week, literally the day that happened between me and my friend. I went to the church, I got blessed, and the day after I went to my coworker, and my coworker Jimmy told me that he had asked, because she had a maid, right, that worked there for 20 years with them. She would work in the house, obviously her parents' house, and she would also go to the condo. But since she had another job, that's why they needed other caregivers, but she was still a caregiver to her. And my coworker, knowing that I told him the first incident that happened, asked her, can I ask you a question? She's like, yeah, because he mentioned to her what happened with me. This lady said that she had experienced the same things as me, that she would see black shadows in their house, and that she would also see mist, and she would hear noises, and that she would get things thrown across.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
I cannot, like, I was scared to death, guys, because I was like, whatever was there literally followed me. I thank God I got blessed and everything, but it literally followed me home. And as to top it off, my coworker looked at me and he was like, don't get scared, all right? And I was like, what? He's like, Sarah had a twin sister who had passed away. Guys, I'm getting chills. Like, I don't know if you can see it. I'm getting chills. This girl had a twin sister who had passed away, and they never once brought it up to me that she was schizophrenic, that she was not mentally there. This girl, every time I would talk to her, was this lady. She was fine every time she talked to me, you know, besides her physical appearance. She was fine, you know, like she would talk so smart. And when I bring it back to day one, when she told me that her sister liked me and she wanted me to stay there, and she was like, I was like, what is this lady talking about? Guys, to this day, just telling the story just gives me the chills, guys. Like, I don't know, it's so uneasy with it because I've never experienced something so negative and so crazy in my life, because this whole story just adds up together. Leave a comment down below if you guys have ever experienced anything. You guys are more than welcome to DM me your stories. I don't know if you guys have ever gone through any of this, but if you guys have, it's not a good feeling. It's scary stuff, but that's my experience. Honestly, guys, I don't ever want to work there again. It was so unprofessional. For lawsuit reasons, I never worked there. This is all fake. And yeah, guys, if you guys did like this story time of when I did work at a haunted place, because I'm pretty sure, honestly, I'm pretty sure that place was really haunted and scary. But if you guys did like the story time, please comment down below and I will do more story times like this. I have so many stories I want to tell you guys so you guys can hear them. As for that, please like and subscribe, and I will be back with more videos. Bye, guys.